So, hi everyone. My name is Aishah Okoje. I am the founder of Black Women in HR, and today I have gone across the pond. I've gone to Georgia, and I'm speaking with Aishah Tatum. She's amazing. She's written 4 books. She's just about to release her 5th book. You can see all the inspirations behind her. I love her flowers, all the positive affirmations, and I am just feeling it across America. And today we're just going to talk about Aishah, what she's doing for Black women, for her tribe, and everything she's doing. And please remember to subscribe and enjoy. But my first question to Aishah is, who are you? Tell the Black women in HR who you are.
Well, I love that question, sister. So, I would describe myself as a woman of light, of love, a woman that's a warrior for God, a woman that's on a mission to help as many women heal so that they can get to their purpose. I believe that when you are in this space of toxicity, whether that's in the form of your thinking, your beliefs, past traumas, racism, injustice, anything that we experience can cause us to harbor negative energy. And when we have that energy, it will keep us out of alignment with God, with divine flow. So I'm all about helping women become aligned fully with who it is they were meant to be. Yes.
Thank you. What an amazing introduction. But so you did mention you're on your 5th book. So what inspired you to write your own book, The Fearless Woman, a book of affirmation?
Thank you. That's a great question. So my mother was diagnosed with cancer in January of 2014. And after I found out she had cancer, obviously I was panicking. I was afraid. I was scared. And I'd always had this idea of one day becoming an author and a teacher. And 2 months into her diagnosis, I said, one of the things that I'm going to do is write a book, and I'm going to dedicate it to my mother. So while she's alive, she can read it and it'll be a tribute to her. So The Fearless Woman really is all about helping women move past their fears, move past their insecurities, move past their lack of self-worth by helping them reprogram their mindsets into more positive inner conversation, right? Because oftentimes we have all of us have inner conversation, inner dialogue going all the time, but 95% of the time it's negative, which is creating our reality, is creating dysfunction in every area of our life. So The Fearless Woman really is all about helping women realign with that purpose, realign with that nature of who they really are, and reprogramming themselves accordingly. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect.
So you talk about the paradigm of manifestation and God together. What do you mean by that?
Oh, wow. This is going to be a prolonged answer. So when we think about manifestation and we think about God, it's important to first understand who we are, right? Oftentimes we have these identities or these things that qualify us. I'm a woman, I'm Black, I'm Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever your faith is, I'm a mom. But that's really not who we are, right? Like who we really are in the essence of the whole scheme of things is the Spirit of God. I believe we are the Spirit of God. We are made in the image and likeness of God. And because that's our natural state of being, we are natural manifestors. We're natural creators. And everything that we're experiencing is our manifestation. It's our thinking, right? Our images that we replay, it's our spoken word, it's our feeling, all of which are spiritual. When God created the earth, the world, man, he spoke, right? He imaged things, he spoke those things, and the same with us. So you can't have one without the other. Like we're not God, but we are from God. And because we are from God and we are made in the image of God, we are creators. We manifest our own reality. When we are experiencing things that we don't like, things that cause us hurt, sadness, and pain, the only thing we need to do is turn within, because that means that there's something within us that's creating it. It's something out of alignment, obviously, with truth and light and abundance, but it's something that we're creating.
That's such a very, very inspiring words. And it just takes me to the next question. And the next question talks about your website, what you do, because you touched on that a little bit with your introduction, but you didn't go in depth in terms of what you do, what services you provide, so that my audience in the UK can, because now everything is so easier with the virtual world, that I can pursue someone in America, in Georgia, to secure their services. So can you tell us about your website and what services you offer?
Sure, I can. So, one of the things that I offer as a holistic life and leadership coach is customized, holistic healing protocols, right? And so, basically, these protocols are created based upon a woman's subconscious beliefs, which are those things that are running beneath the surface of her mind. They're based upon her emotional state. They're based upon her physical health, right? So the first thing that I do is I do something called an AO scan, which basically hears the frequency tones in her voice, has a picture of her, and then it creates a report to let me know how healthy she is mentally, how healthy she is physically, and how healthy she is emotionally. Based upon this,
You have a book about that?
Based upon this, I then create a full out customized holistic plan, because remember, our mind, our body, our spirit, our heart, our life are all reflections of one another. And within this protocol, what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll clear out a lot of those subconscious beliefs that are keeping her stuck. We'll clear out a lot of those subconscious beliefs that are keeping her in fear. We'll clear out a lot of those subconscious beliefs that has her sabotaging, procrastinating, being critical of herself. We'll clear out a lot of those subconscious beliefs that are holding her back from her true potential and her purpose. And then there's also emotional healing work that we do. Out of the heart flow all the issues of life, right? So anytime we're dealing with any issue that we're experiencing, it's usually tied to unforgiveness of some sort. Anger, rage, bitterness, resentment, regret, sadness, loneliness. All of these are emotions that are outside of love, right? Something happened and you withheld love, or you internalize it and interpret it in a specific way. So a lot of the work we do is around clearing out traumas of the heart, things that hurt, old past pains, regret, sadness. And then there's also the physical aspect. Every lady that works with me is on a detox. Is that you or me? Is that my phone?
Yeah, that's your phone, not mine.
Oh, and I have it on Do Not Disturb. I'm so sorry. It's on
probably,
Do Not Disturb.
I think sometimes when you have you on Do Not Disturb, if it's a frequent caller, it just goes through.
Yeah, okay. I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's all right. These things happen.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So let's get back. And then there's the physical aspect. Every woman that works with me goes on a physical detox. So I'm vegan. I've been vegan for 10 years. And I think it's important that we understand how food influences our mood, influences our thinking, influences our emotions, our health. And then there's also the component of vaginal womb cleansing, which is also a center of manifestation, right? So a lot of times as women, we store a lot of our hurt and our pain in our womb. That's why there's such a large amount of women who deal with fibroids, PCOS, infertility, endometriosis, heavy menstrual cycle, amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea, not having a cycle. And so then there's the aspect of cleansing that out. So there's a physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional protocol customized to suit each woman's needs. So that's really the main service that I offer. I'm also an inspirational speaker. So I speak and conduct workshops as well. And so, yeah, so those are the services that I offer. I have a group coaching program that is going to be coming up in August, which I'm really excited about. And it's going to be focused heavily on emotional detoxification for women, helping them clear out a lot of emotional pain so they can get to their purpose.
I think that's amazing, because if I speak from my own personal experiences, I've been through so many challenges as a Black woman, as a mother. And sometimes, because I speak to a lot of people all the time, and I say even that it's okay to not be okay. And sometimes you can experience that upset, but just know that you shouldn't linger in it for too long, because my mom passed away at a very young age, and it was unexpected, like your mom with cancer. And I wasn't ready for it. And for a long period of time, I was hurting. But today, and I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep without thinking of my mom. But today I wake up every day. I think about my mom, but I don't think about her. So it's interesting when you say the emotional cleansing, as in we store a lot of things in our body. So I would you be able to elaborate on that for, so even for myself? What does
Yeah,
that mean?
sure. So basically, what happens is we all have experiences, right? And so we have these experiences, and as we have these experiences, we perceive it to be a certain way, right? So let's say, for example, we both lost our moms, and I want to give you my condolences on that. We lost our moms, and as a result of losing our moms, we then began to formulate certain thoughts, right? For me, I thought, oh, I'm an orphan. I miss my mom so much. And then there was guilt that came up, like maybe I could have done things better or differently. For you, you had another thought process. Those thoughts created what are called feelings or emotions, which are actually chemical responses to your thinking. Now, these emotions, what tends to happen is that they're generated in our brain and also specific organs within our body. So when you have issues with your breathing, your lungs, for example, it tends to mean that there's some inner sadness there. So if you know someone that has asthma or other like difficult time breathing, they're dealing with a lot of inner sadness. The same thing with anger. That emotion is generated from the liver, right? So sometimes people may have liver disease, or they're not able to detox their body. They're holding on to a lot of edema or excess weight because the liver is negatively impacted by the emotion of anger. And so what happens when we're going through these experiences, that our body releases these chemicals. Now, these chemicals, these emotions, get trapped in our body because they're not released. How does this happen? Well, because everything is energy, right? Energy is not created, energy is not destroyed. So because we're generating these energies of emotions, they become trapped when we don't know how to release them. So anytime we've had heartache, pain, sadness, grief, guilt, anytime those feelings were generated in our body and we didn't let them go, we didn't release them, we stored them. Even when you try to suppress your memories, or you try to forget about things, or you try not to think about them, those energies are still present in the body because energy is not created or destroyed. And so it's very important to understand that our body is always communicating to us. Sometimes when people are trying to lose weight, they have a difficult time losing weight because it's an energetic emotion of pain, of weight, of sadness that they're carrying. They try all kinds of diets. They can't stick to the diet. And if they do, the weight comes back because that energy of the emotional pain is still very much present, vibrating in the body. The same thing with any type of physical ailment. Those energies are still present in our body. And so it's important to learn, one, how to manage your emotions, but also how to detox your emotions. And there's several ways that I teach how to do this, but mostly we want to communicate with our body utilizing kinesiology, which is a form of muscle testing. All right. Muscle testing will let us know what emotions are present, where they're present, how long they've been present, and then through certain holistic protocols, we can release them. Okay. So trapped emotions, there's all kind of different types of emotions. There's trapped emotions. So those are the emotions where we generated anger or bitterness or sadness. We didn't let it go. But then there's also inherited emotions, right? So do you have any children? Okay.
Yes,
So do you remember when you were pregnant, and if you ever kind of felt emotional, maybe someone said, oh, don't get too emotional. You don't want the baby, to be impacted. So what happens is there's inherited emotions, right? So there are emotions that come in through our DNA from our ancestors. And then there's also emotions like prenatal emotions when we were in our mother's wombs. Whatever she felt changed the amniotic fluid around us, and those emotions were then communicate us and then went inside of us. So it goes deeper than what I'm explaining, but it's a process. So just be aware that everyone has emotional baggage. Some they know about, and a lot of it they don't know about. And these emotions that are trapped, inherited, toxic, literally keep us out of alignment with who we really are. They keep us out of alignment with our powerful, fearless, abundant, amazing selves, because they actually rewrite our DNA. They cover up our DNA. And that's a whole training on that I have. But that's the gist of it. Do you have any questions on that? And does that make sense?
It makes absolutely sense. You've just literally educated me so much about my own body, about my mind. Because I always used to say to people that your mind also has an impact on your body when you go through pain. Because when you're stressed or depressed, because I don't know if there's science or statistics out there that says it does, but I just always feel that your mind plays to heart failures, liver failure, and I also little bit always feel it has an impact to cancer, because I
Yes.
always say if you live in depression,
Mhm.
you might fall ill tomorrow, because sometimes you cut yourself and you're hurt, then you see blood, but because it's mental, you can't measure the impacts to your body. So thank you. That's amazing.
Yes. And you're absolutely right. It's called the mind body connection, right? So anytime we think a thought, chemicals are released. Anytime we think a thought, it literally travels to every cell in our body. It travels to our DNA, and it
Mhm.
begins to reprogram us at the level of our genes and at the level of our cells. So you're absolutely right. Cancer is a manifestation of regret, long held pain, where literally something is eating away at you. So cancer is a manifestation of something eating away at you, right? Emotionally, maybe something that you didn't do a long time ago, and that regret is so heavy, so painful, that it manifests itself as the disease known as cancer. So you're absolutely right about that.
Okay, I just always thought it, and I do share it as my own opinion. But I'm happy that because you're the expert. I'm not. I'm just me. So,
You're an expert too now, sister.
yes, I am. Yes, I am. So thank
Yes,
you
you
so much for that.
are.
So how can we begin to? So this is another question. How can we begin to walk in purpose when we're feeling like we're losing value? So just on the back of what you just said.
Yeah, definitely. I think that ties a lot into two parts to this. First thing is how you're defining your value, right? Oftentimes, when we think about value, it's associated with ego. And there's two different aspects of ourselves. So there's the I self that's ego based, and then there's the I self that's spiritual based. And so oftentimes when we're dealing with value, most of the time we attach our value to status, to money, to marriage, to kids, to accolades, to degrees, to different accomplishments, right? All of which are transitory achievements in this time space realm, right? But our true value has nothing to do with any of that, right? Because all those things can be taken away, right? At any point, those things can be taken away, or at any point, people can begin to say, "Oh, that's really not a big deal." Our true value is that spiritual essence that we all have that never leaves us, right? It's that the fact that God literally is inside of you, right? And I think that when we can begin to shift our perspective on value in terms of how we value ourselves, and are we valuing ourselves in the same way that God values us versus the world, then we will begin to have a different mentality when it comes to our purpose, when it comes to allowing God force to express itself through us in the natural gifts and talents that he's given us. So oftentimes when we're feeling like, oh, I'm losing my value, we always want to quantify that and say, well, what am I basing my value on? Am I basing my value on some worldly achievement? Or am I basing my value on, hey, God is in me. I have natural gifts and abilities and talents and all types of things that he's given me. And he has a purpose and a plan to prosper me in every area of my life. So really, all of these things have nothing to do with my value. And so as we begin to embody that knowledge and operate from that standpoint, then we won't have any problems with our purpose. Our whole point of existence will be to bring out the fullness of why we're here, and we will feel valuable in that. Sometimes we may not feel valuable because subconsciously we're not living our purpose. We're not living out that higher calling. We are struggling with deep feelings of inner sadness and unfulfillment at the soul level, because the soul is trapped. The soul is not expressing who it really is. And so when our soul isn't expressing who it really is, the natural essence of itself, we can get caught up in ego, right? Caught up in value, caught up in all these other things that really don't mean much of anything. So hopefully that answers the question. Does that make sense?
Everything you say makes so much sense. I don't know why it's taking me so long to interview you, but I know I've watched your live so many times. So before I ask the last question, I just wanted to ask, do you want to talk about your upcoming book? What's that about?
Yeah, sure. So my most recent book is called Girl Heal: How to Release the Pain of Your Past, Reclaim Your Power so you can get on the path to your purpose. Okay.
How can I get that book?
Yes, ma'am. And so really healing is not so much about just the emotions, right? It's also about the way you think. It's about how your own self-concept of who you are. Oftentimes when we are on this path as women, we're out here, we want to blaze a trail. We're hindered if we don't have the proper self-image or self-concept, or we don't believe in ourselves, or we don't have the right idea about who we are. Instead, we are living as an imposter because we haven't fully embraced who we are. We may not even know who we really are. And so Girl Heal really is all about looking at your past childhood traumas, looking at your past thinking patterns, your emotional imbalances, things that have happened that cause you pain, your self-concept, your self-image, and then laying out a 7-step process to help you then begin to embrace who you really are so you can get on the path to your purpose. I help women heal for one reason and one reason only. And that's to help them get on their purpose and serve God and be a light, a vessel of light for the kingdom of light, because there's a lot of darkness in this world. And when you are full of negative energy in the form of negative thoughts, beliefs, emotions, foods, lifestyle, relationship, environment, all of that stuff, habits, you're not in alignment. You're not operating at that level that God wants all of us to be on, right? And it's a constant journey. Healing happens in layers and stages, but it's something that everyone needs to be practicing or should try to practice on a daily basis, one step at a time, one day at a time. And it doesn't have to be hard or complicated. It's very simple. Even if you start with how you eat, adjusting the way you see your food. And instead of going for a bag of chips and ice cream and all these other things, because you're emotionally upset, try going for some carrot juice. But that's a mindset shift, right?
I'm definitely guilty of stress eating. Sometimes when I'm stressed, I just open my fridge and just eat.
Yeah, it's emotional eating, right? Because we're not really taught how to feel better. So like we go to food for comfort. We go to food to help us feel better. Mm-hmm. But those foods that we go towards, that we're attracting and that we're vibrating at, literally keep us in those negative energies, because the vibrational frequency is so low. It won't help us get out of that depression. So we really got to have some willpower, right? We got to have some determination. One thing that separates human beings from the other life forms is that we have willpower. We have the ability to choose. We have the ability to envision. We have the ability to make a decision, to exercise our will, to change our life. Like, I'm really not into like victim mentality or any of that. Like, all of us have had trials. You lost your mom. That's very painful, especially at a young age. I couldn't imagine losing my mom at a young age. Like, my mom left when I was going on 33 years old, right? And so for me, that was traumatic for me. So we all have a past. We all have a story. That's called, okay, that's a part of God's purpose and plan. Now what? Like, how do I take the pain of my past and these different experiences that I've gone through, uniquely designed for me, and use those to my advantage to propel me into the destiny that God has for me, the people I'm here to serve? How do I do that? And that's really the question we all have to ask ourselves, and then get about the business of doing it on a daily basis.
Wow. That's so amazing. That's amazing. So just trying to bring this to a close. I definitely want your books. Send me when it comes out. Would there be an e-version, or it has to be posted to the UK?
So I have an I have an e-version, and the paperback will be coming out in a few weeks, but the e-version is available now. It's only $17.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll send that link to you if you're interested. It's on a promotion right now for the next 30 days. And
Okay.
then the hard copy will be coming out. So it's like pre-order. So the hard copy will be coming out in a couple of weeks.
And absolutely, if you share the link, when we share this video for the Black Women in HR members, I would like to put the link to your book because I think it's powerful. Because I'm definitely buying a copy and I will be reading it, and I will come back to you with questions on my notes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and let me know if you want to do a follow-up interview or a live or however I can support your movement, your mission. I love seeing women in their purpose. Yeah. So I'm always down for the cause. Like whatever you have going on, let me know. Let me know how I can support you, your community, your tribe, because that's what it's all about. That's what real sisterhood is all about.
Yeah. So we're so just before I round up, we're Black Women in HR. I'm hosting my first annual conference in the autumn this year. So it's going to be hybrid, virtual, and in person. So I'll give you a virtual free ticket, so you can help me promote it within your community. So watch out for that. So I'm hoping to announce in 2 weeks, just sorting out the final technicalities, and we should announce on the 19th of July. So it'll be virtual, so you can access it virtual from anywhere in the world. It'll be all not all day, but from lunchtime to 6 o'clock.
Perfect. Well, I'm down for the call. So send me whatever I need and I'll help you. I'll put it out there.
Yeah, thank you. Just to round up, so do you have any advice to our listeners that want to start their healing journey and start moving forward?
Yes, I definitely do. The very first thing we always want to do when we're in a place where we know we need to move forward, we feel stuck or stagnant. Very first thing is always seek out God, right? Ask him to help you on that path, that journey. Secondly, you need to set your intention. You need to be very intentional about what that is going to look like for you. Thirdly, you want to begin to take a look at your life holistically. The best way to do this is to look at what areas of your life flow, what areas are stuck or stagnant. And when I say what areas, I want you to actually get a sheet of paper out, look at your career, look at your finances, look at your health, physical health, think about your mental health, your emotional health, your environment, your relationship with yourself, your spirituality, the whole nine. And then ask yourself, which of these areas flow? Which of these areas are stuck or stagnant? Why are these areas stuck? Usually it's because of something we're thinking, feeling, or doing, or a conglomerate of all three. And then at that point, you want to begin to shift your perspective and ask yourself, what do I really want in all of these areas? What does true happiness look like for me? What does true health look like for me? Success, every category, get a clear vision of what that looks like. And then ask yourself, what do I have to do to get there? Now, there's different ways that you can get there. There's lots of resources. There's coaches. There's programs. There's all kind of things. Check in with your intuition. God will guide you. God will guide you in terms of what you need to do. I always recommend having a coach or a mentor or someone that's already been down the path, because that'll cut out your learning curve a lot. Like it'll save you a whole lot of time. You stumbling on YouTube, trying to Google and YouTube and all kind of stuff, and you still at the same place you were a year or two ago. So having someone that has that in place, and then go from there and make a commitment to yourself. Know that you're worth it. Know that healing is possible. Know that we all have healing to do, and it happens in layers and stages. No one is exempt from that. And be very gentle with yourself. Be open to what God brings into your life and pay very close attention. And then get on your path to healing. And if you need help, y'all send me an email or something. I got you. Okay.
So how can our members reach you? What's your Instagram handle, your LinkedIn, your email? Do you want to read that out?
Sure. So my Instagram is my name, Aishah Tatum. My TikTok is my name, Aishah Tatum. My Facebook is my name, Aishah Tatum.
Yes, Aishah Tatum.
My email is Aisha@aishahtatum.com. So you can connect with me on there. And I'm here to support you on your mission, your tribe. So whatever you need, you let me know. because I'm all about purpose. All of us getting to that place where we are doing exactly what God put us here to do.
Wow. It's just, I know it's been a short interview, but it's been so amazing. I have definitely learned a lot about my body and a lot about it's just a confirmation of what I've always thought, because I didn't have the experience. It's just something I always thought whenever I'm stressed. Because when I find myself in a stressful situation, for me, it's music. I listen to music. Music takes me out of everything. It gives me joy. It lifts me up. And
Yeah.
that's I understand what makes me happy, and it's through music. And I
Yeah.
have different type of music for different times of how I'm feeling. And
Yeah.
just knowing that we need to, I always try to encourage people not to linger in the emotion because they're toxic. So thank you so much. So so this conversation, I wouldn't call it an interview, I'll call it a conversation with Aishah Tatum. It's been my pleasure to have you. So if you're watching this on replay, please remember to subscribe to Black Woman in HR YouTube channel. And this will be a fortnight podcast with different ladies, Black women who are representing Black women across the world, doing amazing things and doing so many things. So thank you so much to everyone. And any final words for Maisha before I sign out?
One, I want to just thank God for this amazing opportunity. I want to thank you for being obedient to your calling, what God put in your heart to put out into the world. And I want to thank all the people who are here to support you listening. My final words of advice will be to tap into your power, know who you are, know that you are worthy, that you are deserving, that you are good enough, that you are capable, that God has amazing things in store for you. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not let your past hold you back. Do not let failure or any of these destructive thought patterns from the enemy sabotage your success. You have what it takes to win. Trust God. Get out here and be a light and shine that light as bright as you possibly can. And that would be my last final piece of advice. And I'm wishing everyone love, light, happiness, prosperity, and abundance.